Alright guys, what's up? Just finished a live stream with some boys. I actually had an idea of another video for you guys that I hope will help you guys out as far as traditional stuff goes. So here I have actually 3 different pockets that have been either removed or cut out, and they are with different leathers. So this is a double trad, this is with Jimalax leathers, this is an RPV, this is with Beaver leathers, and this is a Trad X that I cut out that is with MinLax leathers. Now, I wanted to come and show you guys what my thoughts were on each of these and why I enjoy certain leathers and certain things I enjoy about leathers, and try to give you guys a good idea of the quality of leathers you are looking for and the kind of stuff that I look for when I am purchasing supplies from different companies, the larger companies especially. So let's start with these. These are Jimalax leathers. These are simple white leathers. I actually started off stringing with all Jimalax supplies. At this point, I do not use Jimalax leathers. I only use their sidewall and their shooters. That is just because I found other things that I enjoy. Now, when I'm talking about leathers, some of the big things I look for in my leathers is I actually like my leathers to be stiffer. Now, the reason being is that when I string a pocket and I have really loose leathers that are very flimsy, they're thinner, they're very pliable. The reason I don't like that is because when I string a pocket, I want the ability to space my interlocks and not have any problems with the leather stretching and becoming uneven inside my interlocks. And a lot of the pictures that you're going to see on Instagram, the leather in between the interlocks is going to become bunched. Now, if I can try and show you guys this, I actually changed this pocket to a double trad after doing a single 6 diamond. The reason being is that with Jimalax leathers, I had a big problem with this leather bunching, especially when I first started stringing. I think that when I first started stringing, I had a lot of problems with being able to space my interlocks and to have correct tensions within my pockets. These are 2 huge things that you need to work on and improve on, especially when you first start stringing. So when I come back to Jimalax now, after probably a solid year of stringing traditionals, a solid year of getting good practice in of stringing traditionals every single day, I really dislike Jimalax products as far as leathers. When I first get Jimalax leathers, the biggest thing I see is that they're kind of inconsistent. The leathers I get from them are different from day to day, and I really don't like how flimsy, how soft, how pliable these leathers are, especially right out the bag. I think it's important to note that as a pocket breaks in, I do want it to be softer. I do want my leathers to be able to get to this point, but I don't want them to be at this point right out of the bag. I want to go through the breaking process and not have to worry about the pocket breaking in and becoming uneven on me because the leathers are too soft. So I had to switch this up to a double trad to reduce the amount of leather in between each interlock, which gets rid of a lot of the leather bunching that I'm going to have problems with, that I had problems with in between. As I pull this apart, you guys can actually see how the leathers kind of stick out right there, how they're bunching together in between. When you don't get your correct tensions in between leathers, you really do have a problem with the leathers bunching. And I found that Jimalax actually has some of the worst products as far as leathers go. Like I said, I do use their sidewall and shooters and their shooter spools right now, but I've really turned away from their leathers because of these couple things. Something else I noticed is that they really feel almost plasticky. They feel like they're a different material that is not straight leather. I think that I don't actually know what they're made with, but from just being able to feel the leather, I do not feel like they're very authentic. They feel plasticky and kind of almost like a piece of foam, which is really, really weird and really not something that I look forward to stringing. Something else is that right out the bag, on this, there's a soft side, there's a smooth side, and then there's a rough side. On the rough side, actually pieces of leather come off. It's almost like how wax mesh flakes. So that is my first little input on Jimalax leathers. The next one I have here is the Beaver leathers with the RPV. Beaver leathers was a Stringer Shack attempt at something like Throne leathers, where they are weather resistant. They are not waterproof. They are not 100% going to work in wet weather, but they are attempting to create a weather resistant leather. Now, when I strung these up, they were stiffer, a little bit stiffer, not by very much. They did seem a little flimsy to me still, and they're still quite thin. They did not have the same problem with the material coming off that I was talking about with Jimalax, and it actually strung up very nicely. The one downside I see with these Stringer Shack leathers, the Beaver leathers in particularly, is how expensive they are. They're almost $3.50 a leather. So for 4 of them, I mean, you're looking at $14 for just leathers, for just one pocket, which I think is a lot of money to spend, especially if you're just starting to string and you aren't understanding the benefits of waterproof leathers. And that being said, is that if you break in a pocket properly, if you take care of it properly, if you get to that full break-in period, you will not have any problems with water in your leathers. I think that's important to note, that after your pocket breaks in, so after it breaks in fully, you should not have problems with your leathers in water, at least quite as many problems as you would beforehand. However, I did like these leathers. I find them a little bit on the expensive side, and I do not stock these. I do not think that they are worth the money, to be quite honest. But if you are wanting to find a weather-resistant leather, I think they're a good choice. Again, with thrown leathers, it's the same pre-stretched feel as Jimalax, and I really disliked that. I think it made the leathers inconsistent, and it didn't really work very well for me. Now, for the last one, you guys know that I do use MinLax leathers for all my traditionals that I string for you guys. I stock these, and I think that Brian does a fantastic job with creating a quality product that really does do what he says it does. These leathers, right off the bat, are a little bit stiffer. They are thicker. They are wider. They are more weather resistant after being fully broken in. That is important. Than Beaver leathers. I think that they will do better in weather because they are stiffer. Something that I did like is that, as you can see, there were no problems with leather bunching. This was one of the first X channels I actually ever strung, and I was quite surprised with the product acting the way that it did. I think that it really helped me improve my traditional stringing, because it was a little more forgiving as far as aesthetics go and functionality goes in a pocket. However, if you are going to string a first-time traditional, I would not recommend MinLax leathers. Because they are stiffer, because they are like this, you do run into problems with them being a little bit more difficult to string. My suggestion would be going back to Stringer Shack, not using the Beaver leathers, but the regular leathers that they sell, which I think are really cheap. They're about the same price as Jimalax. They're about $1, a little more than $1 per leather, which is a good price to pay for a leather. Coming back to MinLax, they are thicker. They are more resistant. I do really enjoy these. I love how they break in. They break into a very soft feel, which I think is great for a leather. Plus, Brian, the owner of MinLax, does a great job of being honest with you about his product. He will help you go through all the process. He's a great guy, and the prices are really cheap. I think that for these unstitched 8-ounce 1/4 inch leathers, which is the standard size and standard weight, they are $1 per leather. Then you pay shipping, which is very cheap. Also, he ships priority mail, and he's a great guy to work with. I think that he creates a very high quality product. These do feel like, and they do look like, actual leathers. And to me, I think that goes a long way. As far as him, he does hand cut all of his orders for you, which is awesome. As far as how much you are paying per leather, this is probably one of the highest quality pieces of leather you can get for the price. As far as stringing them up, they are very easy to string in my opinion. However, like I said, if you're starting off stringing traditional, I would not use MinLax leathers. I would use something a little bit more forgiving. While I say they are easy to string, that is also because I have been stringing these for quite a bit now, and I do understand how they act to the interlocks. You do have to get used to what the products you are using. This is the same thing that goes for mesh as it does for leathers. If I was to compare all three of these, MinLax is definitely my first, then comes Beaver leathers, and then comes Jimalax. In between there, Throne is a little bit better than Jimalax just because it has the weather-resistant features. The Beaver leathers are expensive, so I would choose their standard leathers over their Beaver leathers. However, I do like these, and if you want to pay money for weatherproof leathers, these are the way to go. And finally, you have MinLax, which are my favorite, my all-time go-to leathers, because of the quality of product you get for the price. That is very important to note, is that you get a very high-quality product for a very good price from a guy who really will work with you and do a great job. If you want to go to see his products, I think you just go to MinLax.com, you go to stringing services, you send him an email, he gets to you right back right away, and he gets those orders shipped out virtually the next day after you pay an order for it. He does do a wonderful job of talking to you, and I really do like his products. He has 2 different kinds of leathers. I've gotten 2 different from him. These past ones I've gotten are actually a little bit thicker. They're a little bit more sturdy, and they are a lighter color. You can get darker leathers from him that are a little bit thinner, and they are a lot flexier. I like both. I mean, they're not nearly as flexy as these Jimalax ones, which literally, it's like fur. It feels like I'm just like petting some animal. It's really, there is no rigidity to them. They feel very, very flimsy, and they feel kind of fake. I don't mean to call them out. I don't think that they create fake products, but to me they feel like they're fake. So coming back to it, MinLax leathers are definitely the way I would go. And I do believe that you are getting a quality product if you choose any of these companies. If you're starting out stringing, go for Stringer Shack regular leathers. If you want a waterproof version, go for Stringer Shack Beaver leathers. If you want just a good quality product and you've strung a couple before, MinLax is the way to go. So I hope you guys learned something in here. I hope you guys learned something about the quality materials that you're using. It is important to note that the higher quality material you buy will usually be more expensive, which is why I really like MinLax leathers, guys, because you're getting that quality product for a very good price. You can also buy their stitched leathers, which I don't think I have any actually around me. I used up my last couple, which are very cool. They add a cool touch to your head, and they're just like 25% more per leather, which is a really good price. And I don't think you can get that at like a Stringer Shack or Jimalax company, because Brian does do all this stuff by himself. So I hope you guys learned something. Like I said, I do use Stringer Shack materials. I use Stringer Shack cross lace. And I don't like the Jimalax cross lace for some of the reasons I stated about their leathers. Jimalax cross lace, wow, has started to decline in quality. I feel like they're speeding up the process. The same kind of deal with East Coast dyes, which is again why I don't really like those companies, is because as they get bigger, the quality in their products decline. They spend less time on perfecting each product that goes out, so you really aren't getting the most quality product for your money. With the colored cross lace you get from Jimalax, it is very coily and makes it very difficult to string a good pocket. Whereas Stringer Shack, I really enjoy it because you don't have that. It doesn't coil quite as much, and it doesn't create as many problems. So those are my thoughts on traditional, especially for leathers and supplies. I do think that if you want to buy a product and you want to send it to me and you want me to string it up, I will do whatever I can to make sure you get the best product no matter what. I mean, you get the best pocket no matter what product you send me. But those are my thoughts. Those are what I think is the best. I hope you guys learned something, so have a nice day.